Uh, Bill Monroe was one of my biggest inspirations. He was an incredible mandolin player and singer. And, my dad bought me a mandolin when I was 5 years old. And my dad kind of made one of those inner vows that if he ever had a son that showed any kind of musical abilities, that he would buy him a mandolin, and, hopefully he'd learn to sing harmony, and that's what happened with me. I remember the night that my dad brought the mandolin and put it in my bed. I woke up and I felt wood and steel in my hand, and it was the greatest feeling, and it just felt so right. I think I've always had a deep knowing in my heart that music was going to be my path. I was good at it at a young age. I could learn it. I could comprehend a song. I could listen to something once or twice, but I could remember real well. I sang harmony with my mother. I would hear her singing one end of the house, and I'd be singing harmony at the other end of the house, playing, with my army men or something like that. She told my dad, she said, "Ricky's singing harmony to me," and he said, "Oh, he is." And so we started kind of practicing when he'd come home from work. We started practicing as a little Skaggs family group. God is such a giver of gifts, and I just feel like that was the gift he gave me to do, was to be an entertainer, to play music, and obviously give him the glory for it, because that's, he's the giver of the gift. Well, I find a lot of inspiration from old music. I grew up in Kentucky, so I was around old musicians that played fiddle and banjo, and my mother and dad were really good singers. My mom especially was a great singer, and so I got a lot of inspiration from her growing up. I love to hear my kids play and sing. My son is an incredible musician and loves every instrument ever made. And he wants one. And then Molly, my youngest daughter, is a great piano player, great singer, and she turns me on to all this new music like Mumford and Son and Iron and Wine and Fleet Foxes and people like that she really loves a lot, and a lot of singer-songwriter music. So I get a lot of inspiration from that. I get a lot of respect, from a lot of young kids. I know Jack White, asked me to come in and do something on the Raconteurs record, and God, they treated me like a king or something when I walked in. "Hey, Mr. Skaggs, how you doing? It's really great to meet you," and I have a pretty unique sound, I think. I think it's, it's a lot of old music that's been brought forward and probably updated to this century. The musicians that I love are all last century, people, and Bill Monroe, the Stanley Brothers, and Flatt and Scruggs, and Osborne Brothers, people like that. I have to make music that I like. I have to make music that makes me feel good, that moves my heart. I knew if I could make myself happy with it, that I would be happy, but I feel like that my fans are happy when I'm happy, because I think the quality of what I try to do is always a high standard. Well, I approach live performances totally different than I do the studio. I've got lots of chances in the studio. If I mess up, hey, start it over. When you're on stage, you get one shot at it. You can't redo it. They've already heard it. They already heard your big old blunder. So when Bruce Hornsby was on the road with us, going out and doing dates, it was talking about flying by the seat of your pants. Every night was that way. But when the show was over, we knew we had done a great performance, and people were going away talking about it, and that they were talking good about it. In the studio, when I'm making music, making records, to me, it's quality out of the instrument into a microphone, onto the tape machine. I use great microphones, and I've got a huge collection of Neumann and Sennheiser mics here at Skaggs Place Studio, and old vintage things that you can't get anywhere else, and they're making great new mics. Thank goodness, the quality is still there. It's got a smell about it. It's just got it's its own little person, and I get so in love with these mics. I know how they sound, I know how they're going to perform, and I know what microphone. 9 times out of 10, I know exactly what mic I want to use for this particular overdub. Starts with a great instrument, but the first stage, into the console, is the microphone, and that's why I'm real picky about the mics I use. I get asked a lot, what's your favorite music? What's your favorite kind of songs? What is your favorite song? I don't think I have a favorite song yet. I don't think I've heard it. I've got a lot of songs that I love to hear, and love to sing. Music is part of who God is, and they don't even know it's Him. He's the thing in music that everybody loves, and they don't realize that it's Him.